Hey.
Right, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. This is the general meeting of the Waipuna Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Community Board. The meeting will be live streamed and recordings will be available on the Community Board's YouTube channel. If you are sitting in the public gallery, thank you for attending and we welcome you and your interest in our discussions. Please note that the public gallery should remain quiet during the meeting. And toilets are located outside in the corridor there. And in case of an emergency, please exit via the door at the back of the room. There are 2 staircases to exit the building. Just please follow staff directions in case of emergency. Right. So we start with Karakia. Pakataka te holu ki te ulu, pakataka te holu ki te tonga, kia makina ina kiuta, kanatai, kia kia, hetio, te Mario. Thank you. Apologies. We have an apology for lateness from Tyler, Councillor Tyler Harrison Hunt, and we have Board Member Gamal Foda on Zoom, and Andre is
expected but hasn't
expected to be on Zoom, but it's not there yet. Okay. We don't need to. No.
Well, we needed to receive Tyler's
apology. Tyler's apology. So Mark's move. Don't bite Hank. Yep. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Right. Any declarations anybody wants to put in? No? There are no declarations of interest recorded. Okay. Confirmation of previous minutes. Do I have a mover?
Yeah, with that.
Hank, seconded by Mark. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Now we move on to the public forum, and we have first up Jamie Houston, who will address the board regarding the Tautoro Park maintenance. Please come. Thank you.
I'm allowed to sit.
Oh,
Yes.
of course you are. Welcome. Right.
Oh, yeah. Have you got that?
You have a
Just bring it
presentation?
up.
Yeah, just those
Yeah, we're
photographs. Yeah.
bringing it up.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity to address you guys. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for the help that your governance people have given me in the last day or so just to turn up here and discuss this. My main concern is what's to discuss the state of Tautoro Park, which is adjacent to our property in Wigram. We understand the park maintenance contract has recently been transferred to a City Council in-house contract. City Council brand vehicles have been seen on site. There are 2 concerns. Firstly, state of the planted trees areas has deteriorated in recent months, and these were planted areas have no maintenance carried out recently, or maybe for 6 months or more. As a result, the weed growth, the grass growth, dandelions, thistles have all been allowed to proliferate unchecked to a stage now they're unsightly and unkempt. I'll show some photographs. These were taken on Tuesday. Well, that's the end of the presentation. Can I flick forward one to start again?
A bit.
You should be able to do that on the clicker. Does it take you back?
Keep
I think it's on the side.
Keep going back. Sorry, that's started at the finish.
Which was the first one, Jamie?
Keep going, please. No, that's it. Okay, that's good.
That looks like my garden at home.
That's when I fell over in the weeds in Tautoro Park. Can I advance that now?
Yeah, so wait a second, I'll bring it. So
Sorry.
we ended it. So that's the way it happened. So I think we've loaded them for you, but we've loaded them in the wrong order. I think it's the issue.
Oh, we just have to wing it. It'll show anyway my concerns, even if they might be a bit out of order.
Like even on that quick flick through, you can see some of them.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It's just not in, sorry.
It certainly is a concern. The seated area there was totally overgrown. And you can see this being quietly overrun, so there's a bit of a concern. That there is, we'll just start there. That's an example of, an example of tree maintenance earlier, where the stays and everything were knocked out by the tree, by the lawn mowing contractors, and never really planted properly. Not advancing.
Point to the laptop. This way, no?
That's an example there of one of the corners. It's been slightly kept up to scratch by one resident, but you can see all the grass in behind. That one probably. Now there's an example on a corner.
What street is this, sorry?
This is Olsen Way and Valiant Street.
Oh.
You can see there are massive,
Yeah.
massive weed in the middle there, which
Is this based in Wigram, is it?
Yeah.
This is in Wigram, it's Tutoru Park. Yeah, and that's another shot of that same area. You can see the length of the grass in those plots. That there is a planted area which is actually not too bad, apart from being bouldered for borders, and the rushes are coming through, and there's weeds and stuff in there as well. There's a very good example of what was mulched area, but it's just been allowed to go wild, and even those trees are struggling. Adjacent to the swings, which is not too much of a concern there because it's rush, but all the weeds are just coming through. That area is rush, and that's actually tended by a resident to just keep clear. There's a seated area. As you can see, it's just starting to totally engulf the seat. And also just the note of the boulders and things in behind there, which was nice for a start, but just not practical for keeping the area clean and tidy easily. There's another area that was is planted. And once again, the grass is just allowed to go wild. And similar example there. So it is a concern that this is now getting away out of control. And there's another area there which is not so bad, but yeah, it's deteriorating. And once again, that's that seeded area. So it's these photos only show a portion of the park, so there's more area to that park. In the past, the weed control was a safety spray, which only browns off above the ground, and the roots survive and regrowth happens very quickly. Planted areas are received very infrequent top-ups of bark and chip. So we're concerned about the future maintenance, really, of this area. Acknowledge that the park was part of a private development and is then handed over to council. The question needs to be asked, are these planted areas, as they currently are, best fit for an effective maintenance requirements? Does the question need to be asked? Can there be better long-term arrangement for these planted areas? Some of the excess weed areas around, even around that seat and that sort of thing, maybe they need to be, the garden part of it needs to be removed, cleaned up, and just put down as mowed sections to keep the maintenance down. But, you know, weed control will still be required in those plots and mulching on a regular basis. You know, there's got to be a better way, really, to contain all this. Is there a plan currently in place that will attend to this rampant weed growth, as evident in the photos? I'd be quite keen to hear feedback on that. Concern too, really, is just about the grass mowing part of it. And it's nice to see they're using electric right on lawn mowers. But I'm asking the question, are they up to the job? We've witnessed a couple of times where these mowers don't seem to complete the task. They go away, they come back later in a day, or they come back on another day to complete mowing. And also I've got concern about the height or depth of that grass. Should there be, or is there a requirement in the contract at a minimum or an effective height? Because at the moment it's sitting around 90 to 100 mil deep, and the mower's just been over it yesterday. So yeah, that's really my concerns. You know, as going forward for maintenance, is there a possibility that you look at slightly different borders and things around these gardens? Even as 4x2's put down to border these planted areas, to give it a definition. And the mowers can mow up to that border, that 4x2 in the ground, and then the mulching takes place beyond that. So that's really my submission at the moment. Just to hopefully make you aware that if there's any discussions about it, you're aware of it. It is a concern. It is a nice park, but at the current rate of things, it is deteriorating quite quickly.
Oh, thank you, Jamie. Any questions, please? I've got Mark and then Hank and then Helen, and that's all we've got time for.
Yep.
Mine's basically, Madam Chair, we could refer this to staff.
Yep.
To have some advice around the plan for parks like this would be good. So
So
they're
we
very
refer-
young in their days doing the parks.
Refer to the staff about the plan for this one and provide advice, then we'll provide Jamie the.
Feedback.
Yeah, if I got some feedback at some stage, that would be fantastic. I mean, I don't expect it, but it's just making,
Right.
we've got to do something for a start, just say, hey, we're a bit concerned.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you all done?
Yep, so I'll just, you're aware that our internal parks team and council have recently taken over.
I do.
So hopefully we can get it in early.
I know it's a stepping up program, process, but yeah, we're into the old springtime and things are
Okay,
going rapid.
No, we'll ask the questions.
okay, thank you. Hank?
Just for my personal interest, I don't think I know even where the park is, so I certainly haven't been there, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
How big is it?
It's sort of half a block.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a reasonable. It's got a tennis court on it, and it's quite a large green area, which will be replanted or overplanted again next year. There's more trees to go in there.
okay.
So there is a plan there for that. So that's evidently next year. After we made submissions last year about plan,
Tree planting.
we had that reassessed, which is great. But yeah,
No,
get on the plant.
I'll have to go and have a look.
Yeah, it's down from the New World Supermarket, Valiant Street.
Mm.
And there's a tennis court there and swings and stuff.
Okay,
Right.
yep.
Thank you, Helen.
Yes, in terms of the park or the maintenance, has it always been as bad as this, or is it getting worse?
I feel at the moment, and it may be this transitional thing, I felt it has got away. And I think the previous contractors probably stepped back a bit. I don't know. I don't know what their requirements were under their
Okay.
contract.
So it's probably sliding.
Oh, it's sliding, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the worst I have seen it.
Okay,
Way beyond.
Okay, thank you. We will refer it to staff, and then we'll provide feedback as soon as we hear from them.
Fantastic.
All right, thank you, Jamie.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Jamie. Thank you.
Okay, next I will have Benjamin. Welcome, Benjamin. Just so you know everybody, I'm Marie. I'm board member for Halswell, and if we can just go around the table to introduce
Helen Broughton-Riccarton.
Thank both. Hornby.
I'm Tyler. Nice to meet you, man.
Meet you too.
I'm Debbie from Halswell. Thanks for coming.
All good.
I'm Sarah from Hornby.
And I'm Mark Peters from Hornby. Thank you for coming in.
All right, okay, so you have 5 minutes to just update us.
Sorry, is this?
Yeah.
Yep.
My name's Benji Havanshuti, and this is the process of me getting selected for the Canterbury under-16 team that went to nationals.
Awesome.
How long I've been playing and what is the process of making the team. I've been playing basketball my whole life, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Good on you.
Trial process is the first trial split into 2 age groups: top ages born in 2009, bottom ages born in 2010, which is me. Then you play like just drills and stuff that coaches tell you to do. And if you are good enough, you make the second trial and play in front of all the coaches. And if you impress, you go to the next trial, which is all of the guys that you'll be playing with. And then from there, they select an A and B team and 5 reserves. Process of going to nationals is the first time you get to play as a team is when you play warm-up games against other teams in the local area. And then the national qualifiers is in Nelson. And the top 3 teams from there qualify for nationals. The best thing about nationals was probably playing against like the best competition in the country for my age group. What was the most challenging thing? It was probably knowing that I will not get a lot of game time during the important games, as I am a lot younger than everyone else in the team and don't have as much experience at the national level. What did I learn? I learned all of the different plays and systems that the North Island teams use and play in. What's next for me? A short-term goal for me is to go to the 2025 Mainland Eagle Induction Camp, which is an academy for the best high schoolers in the South Island. In 5 years, I want to be representing New Zealand at an age group level and play in the New Zealand NBL. My long-term goal is to be able to play basketball for a living and play professionally. Thanks so much for the money.
Great, it's wonderful to hear. Right. Any questions? I've got Debbie.
Hi, that's really impressive. And good on you for keeping on going. It's good to have that drive. What I'm interested to know is just your line of thought when you said you don't have as much playtime and you're sitting on the bench or wherever. What's going through your mind? Are you learning? Are you watching?
Just trying to learn as much as I can.
Yeah.
Take it
Yeah.
as much as I can.
Good on you. See, so it's not wasted time.
Yeah.
It's great. Excellent. Keep it up.
Thanks.
All right, Tyler?
Hey, man. What school are you at?
On more.
Cool. So
Excellent.
you've got
school.
Langers as a coach, right? Dave Lingro?
Yeah,
Cool. And did he coach the 16s?
Yeah.
Cool. How did you guys place?
we got 3rd.
Nice. In the country?
Wow.
Great. I saw a bronze medal one. And those that don't know, Dave Lingro is arguably the best coach in the country. When did he start coaching you?
Wow, since I was like 5.
Wow.
5.
When he was 5, Benji
Wow.
started playing and Dave took him under his wing literally since he's 5.
Awesome.
Wow.
Dave.
Awesome. Make sure you stick to him because he's going to get you places, I'm telling you. Awesome.
Right, Mark? Thank you.
So you'll have your focus set on trying to make the Rams and
Yeah.
yeah. Good luck.
Thanks.
Good job.
All right. Oh, thank you very much for that, Benji, and good luck in your future endeavors. And yeah, hope to hear any updates again
Yeah.
sometime.
Sure.
Great,
Thank you.
good.
Come back.
Yeah.
Next year with gold.
Oh, yeah.
Well, watch out for you on TV.
Yeah.
It's an easy tool.
I'll be able to say, I know them.
My playing number was number 5 and I played for Westland. Number 5. So you keep going,
Yeah.
Yes, good.
All right, thank you. All right.
Good on you.
Right, next we've got Peter Simmons of the Middleton Matipo Charitable Trust. And he will address the board regarding Harrington Park by Roa Reserve and Shands Reserve signage. Welcome, Peter.
Hey, hi.
You know everybody.
Yes, pretty much.
No.
I think it's Debbie.
Yeah.
That's it as well, and King as well. But otherwise, yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Next to you. So there's 3 parks in Riccarton, and what I'm looking at is how to activate one of those particular places called Pyro Reserve. And the idea I got is to try and link them up with science. That's Harrington Park there, and Harrington Park is very activated. There's so many things there, and it attracts a lot of people. To the north of it is Pyro Reserve. So if we flick through this one here, you can see it's the front. I was thinking we might have a sign there.
Peter, can you do the,
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
yeah, just pointed it towards here, the laptop.
Oh, was that?
Point towards the laptop.
Okay.
Towards
Yeah.
Kay.
Face laptop.
So, what's happened there?
Nice umbrella.
Hang on, is it back to front? Okay, it's back to front. All right, so that's the front of the park on Peveril Street. And I thought, well, if we have a sign there saying Pyro Reserve Stream, point in that direction, perhaps. And then have another one there saying Pyro Stream this way or something. And so you keep walking. And then that's the back of the park. So we could have something going maybe the other way. And then that's Pyro Reserve. Now from here, obviously, you don't know that there's a stream there. and all this ecology and bird life, and there's a really great place there. You just don't know it. So people use this as a walk through. We'll go from one place to the next. It's a really quick way to get home. If we go here, that's the back of the park. So from here, you still can't see there's a stream. No idea. That's from that little crescent. So you get a little closer. That's the Plunkett Clinic. And then down here is the stream. This is the area where I'd like to attract more people, kids, children, activate the area. I just figured the best way to do that would be signs. And I'm not talking about those flimsy signs that maybe people rip out of the ground, which happens, but some good solid signs made of timber that are cemented into the ground, really hard to take out, as opposed to these kind of really flimsy little poles that the council puts in. And it's a beautiful area, lots of bird life, and ECAN are interested in cleaning it up next year in February 23. So, and we'll run that as an event. There may be educational opportunities there for the kids looking at stormwater, and ECAN they might take samples. So I was talking to them about that today, and they're really keen to get involved in this and involve maybe Forestry School. So that's the stream itself. This is another issue, of course, is how do we get more access to the stream, because it's basically blocked off with bushes and everything. It needs to be cleaned up. That's another angle of the stream. And that's the back. Now, that is, look at that. That's the sign. It's tiny. It's like as big as, just bigger than maybe your hand. That it doesn't tell you basically anything other than to keep your dog on a leash. And there's no, well, there is another sign. Hold on. Like that. That's the only other sign that is at this angle. And again, it doesn't tell you anything really about the area or the stream. So you can miss it completely. So I think we're sort of missing a really golden opportunity to try and activate this area. And it's got untapped potential. And I think the community board, if they got on board, then that would be of help. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, thank you. Interesting. I've got Mark and then Debbie.
Oh, and sorry, I've just got one more slide. No. Oh, I lost it.
Oh, you've lost it.
Yeah, this is one.
Which one was the slide?
It's one of Shan Reserve. It shows the fountain.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the last one. Yeah.
Yep. Shan Reserve. Yeah, so this is Riccarton Road looking at the fountain. You got the garden beds. In Shan Reserve, there are no signs. There's nothing. So from Riccarton Road, you wouldn't know that Harrington Park's there. You wouldn't know that Pyro Reserve's there. You wouldn't know the stream's there. There's absolutely nothing. So there's no visibility from that point of view. So I think something from that angle would be great to point in that direction. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Great. Thanks, Peter. Mark.
Hey, mate.
Hey, how are you? It's good to see you out of the sling.
Yeah, me too.
Hey,
Still,
have you spoken to any local groups like Rotary, perhaps around coming on board and helping in this sort of project? Because to me, it would sound like a good little project that Rotary might be able to help with.
Men's Shed, yeah. Some of those different sort of voluntary groups in the community that might be able to help with making some signs and work with the Parks team.
Yeah, I mean, with some council help when it comes to funds. Men's Shed, they put this together.
This is about the signage.
Yeah.
But that still will need Parks
absolutely.
approval.
Yeah.
So Men's Shed made that notice board.
Oh,
That sign,
That's there. We worked to put that into the ground. So Men's Shed, council worker, plus myself.
Yeah.
Which Men's Shed was that?
It's the one that has the new home, is out by the racecourse. So
Oh, yeah. The Racecourse Road. Yeah.
Riccarton mentioned.
Yep.
All right.
Can we hook these guys up with Parks team as well to try and
So refer
on
to Parks
project.
team?
Yep.
Are we able to?
Or the other option is to ask for staff advice as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
We can refer the issues to staff and ask for the.
Well, unless you,
Gate signage.
Investigate signage on,
I mean, we could contribute, obviously, our discretionary funding.
I was referred to you guys.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
council.
we'll get staff to look into it first. And then
We'll need the
take it
parks
from
team
there.
involved.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
right.
It does need something.
Tyler's quick for you.
Right.
That sounds good.
Debbie?
Oh, yes, just when you were talking about that you're wanting access to the stream, what sort of access were you wanting? Like what for?
About 10 years ago, there was a project with ECAN and other people, and a lot of plantings were made. What's happened now is that everything's growing. Essentially, you can't see the stream except from one. That's a separate thing altogether. In terms of whether, you have some sort of like, I don't know, like a jetty, but you have something that provides more access to the stream.
So you're wanting it for like canoeing or something like that?
I think if at the moment what you just have, it's basically inaccessible to, say, for example, somebody in a wheelchair. It's basically a step. It goes down like this. So it's impossible for people, like maybe people with walking mobility issues, to go down the stream. And at the moment, you can kind of see a bit of the stream, but you've really got to go around to the bridge to even really enjoy it. So I think people's ability to enjoy that stream has been heavily restricted by the amount of bush that's grown up around it. So I don't know. I don't have an answer at the moment, whether some of the plants are taken out or what.
So you're still not sure what you want to use the water for, the stream? The reason I'm asking
I'm not
is
suggesting it used for anything.
Visual amenity.
I'm just saying it's an asset to the community and it hasn't been looked after, and it needs more care.
So there's maintenance?
I'm just
Yeah.
thinking it may be for safety reasons to keep people from falling in, or little ones from falling in or wandering. We've got a huge stream that goes through Napoonawai, etc. as well.
Yeah.
And lots of streams all over. So I just do wonder if there is a safety reason for lots of bush on the edging rather than fencing creeks. But it was interesting. I was just interested to know what access you're needing it for. But thank you for your answer.
I mean, I'm probably like a lot of people. I like to go down by rivers.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to get into them, but I like to be near them. I like to see the ducks, and I like to feed some ducks. So you get that enjoyment. And I think the question I've got is whether or not, because the stream is in such bad condition at the moment, is that actually putting people off from going here?
Yeah.
And hence we've got no reason to be here. So if we can flip that around. That would be great. It could be a great thing for the community.
All good, Deb?
Thank you.
I'm just conscious of the time, so we will refer this to staff and thank you, Peter. And so last one, we've got Garth. Welcome, Garth.
Okay, sure. Do I need to sign this? Do I need to sign this?
You can take it with you. Take it with you.
Okay.
Welcome, Garth. And you know everybody?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So
Good afternoon. Look, I've got 5 issues, mainly affecting the Riccarton ward, but not exclusively. Firstly, the madness of the concrete extrusion at Church Corner. So you're driving down Riccarton Road and you're wanting to turn into Yalthurst Road, and council managers have put a huge piece of concrete in one lane, and so cars are forced to switch into the lane that's heading down Yalthurst Road and then switch back out. And when you're driving along, you're not looking for people coming on your left to come into your lane. So this is so utterly mad. I just cannot understand how council managers could have approved it. And linked up with that is the Great South Road moving into Riccarton Road, where there is currently a give way sign. If there was a stop sign put there, a large stop sign, even a flashing stop sign, then that would clear up that matter at minimal cost. But the giveaway sign is quite small, and it could easily and should be replaced by a stop sign that is large and visible to cars coming down. Secondly, there are traffic signals that have the opportunity for a right-hand turning signal, but the right-hand turning signal never appears. And this is in our area, as in other areas of Christchurch. The madness of the Pier Street Curlitz Road intersection, there is a right-hand turning signal opportunity. It does not exist. It doesn't exist in practice. If you've ever driven down Craik Road and want to turn into Clyde Road at Medbury School Corner, you can wait for ages because there's the opportunity for a right-hand turning signal. It never appears. And at school time, if you know anything about Medbury School, Mum and Daddy arrive in their Remiwera tractors and they completely block the area. And for ordinary people going, and there are buses going down that way, it's madness. The next thing, pipe laying in the Riccarton ward, and not just in the Riccarton ward. There would be thousands of orange cones around Christchurch and nobody working in the area where the cones are. Those cones should be picked up by the contractors. There are no people working in the evenings during daylight saving or in the weekends. Now, I spoke to somebody who had a contract for doing area in right in central Riccarton, complained about the amount of time they were taking, not providing workers in the weekends and at night. He said, oh, we've got a contract for 2 years and we're going to finish in 18 months. There's something really wrong going on in the city council in the area where they are awarding contracts. This is really a gravy train for contractors, and it could come at a much cheaper rate to the ratepayer. Next thing, Riccarton Road is gridlocked. Now, because of the changes that were made in Riccarton Road without any real consultation with the public. Now, going back to the changes, 72 people wrote letters to the Star. As you know, you have to put your name and your address when you write to the Star. You can't just give a non-deplume. I received a copy of the 72 letters through a supportive journalist. Every one of them opposed the changes. We wrote to the Minister of Internal Affairs. She wrote back, that was Nanaya Mahuta, a very nice letter saying the council must consult with ratepayers meaningfully. Carleen Edwards was CEO. She sent us a letter, a copy to us, a letter she had sent to the managers. You must take notice of what local people are saying. The managers took no notice. So it is gridlocked in many respects. Oh, there's a bus lane, but the buses, you're using the car lane. So they've got a whole lane to themselves, but they switched to the car lane. How many cars could be there in place of one bus? Usually 3. And this is causing gridlock. And so contact ECAN about it. Oh, which company was this? There are 4 companies. As if anybody driving a car can find out which company the bus belongs to when you're driving, let alone the number of the bus. Surely ECAN could put somebody in central Riccarton and watch what's going on for 3 hours. And we have made so many submissions to ECAN about the fact that there are so many big buses with very few people in them, and smaller buses would be more nimble. They'd have less impact on the roads themselves and fewer emissions, but nothing ever happens. So all of these things added together create problems if you're moving around the Riccarton ward and the surrounds of Riccarton, and I'm sure the councillor our councillor would be aware of this.
Know that? Thank you, Garth. I have questions from Tyler
Yeah.
and Helen.
Thanks for that, Garth. Just a quick question. You're talking about Pier Street, the right-hand turn going into Curlitz Road, right? From Main South. So if I'm northbound, heading towards the city.
No, sorry. If we're turning from Great South Road into what is Pier Street at the corner where Villa Maria College is, yes, so there is the opportunity for a right-hand turning signal because the traffic light is there, but it never appears. And it is quite tricky because you do not know if a car is going to come right at you because the left-hand lane from Great South Road into Curlitz Road, you see?
Do you mean, when you say Great South Road, do you mean Main South or Yolhurst Road?
No, it's Yolhurst Road.
Right.
Yeah. It's on the corner of Villa Maria College.
Right, so Yolhurst turning
into Pier Street, yeah.
Mm.
And it's just the same at Medbury, at Crate Road and there's the opportunity. There's the light is there, but it never ever appears.
Mm. I think it's on my edge too. Because what I'm doing, Garth, actually I could add that to the list because I'm looking to get Pier Street a right-hand signal. Curlitz, which is then Curlitz, Main South heading right into Millennium Road. There's no right-hand turn. I had some English Street residents from Suckburn actually ask about it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to get that. I can add that to the list if you'd like to get investigated.
Because it's very busy there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And the next one, is there any intersections in particular on Riccarton Road where you're really not liking it?
Well, it's sort of just the gridlock and the thing. And
predominantly this end, eh?
Here's the problem in Clarence Street. You've got a pedestrian crossing and there's one at the university in Clyde Road and in the university at Waimari Road. If somebody steps on a pad, the traffic has to stop. Now that Clyde Road, as you know, councillor, is very, very busy in the morning and the afternoon. There's huge traffic going towards Pendleton. And look, students can wait a minute or two, and it's the same at down here in Clarence Street at Elizabeth Street. Somebody presses the button and bang, a red light goes up. Clarence Street, I don't know whether you people, other councillors or board members know, Clarence Street has become one of the busiest streets in Riccarton. Even on Saturdays, people trying to get to the mall. And on a wet Saturday, oh my God, and another cold one as well. People come and use the heaters in the mall.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Garth.
Thank you. Are you all done?
Mhm.
Okay, Helen and
Yes, thank you.
that sort
Hi,
of.
Garth. In terms of the traffic signals, right, do you know if council staff have decided to not use them, or is it just an error? Do you think? Have you done any investigation?
It took us 8 years to get a right-hand turning signal from Riccarton Road into Clarence Street, and 2 buses turn into there, and we ended up having to write to Carleen Edwards, and she promised it would happen after the road was repaired. But a city councillor many years ago told me that the most difficult council department to deal with was traffic management. And, this is just, I know it's a sort of embarrassment on their part.
So is it actually something that they're consciously doing this, or if they just...
Yeah. So when our chairperson made a submission to traffic management, the excuse was, you can't just make changes immediately. You've got to think about a 30-year plan. It's just sort of nonsense to talk about a 30-year plan.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We have just one last quick question from Debbie. And
Garth, when you mentioned that you received the 70 odd letters.
Yeah, 72.
72. What part of Riccarton Road was that?
This with the changes and putting trees down and cutting 4 lanes into 3 or 2, and and it's like a slalom going down Riccarton Road now. And there's a bit of a bus lane and then the buses have to move out and then a bit of a bus lane, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's the fact that the buses are, when they get past the bus depot heading west, instead of going down the big bus lane, wide bus lane, they switch into the car lane. Unless they're turning left into Matapo Street, and one bus does go left into Matapo Street.
Excuse me, because we're running out of time, but
Yeah, good.
in terms of your issues, I think councillor
I got them written down.
is on top of it. So thank you so much.
Actually,
She changes next week.
Can I say-
Very, very.
can I say, I think we
Thanks, Garth.
should
So
formally record this and send it through to staff.
Yeah, there's quite significant.
Tyler can work on
Yeah.
whatever he can do, but it needs to go
So
through.
what do you want to say?
Well, we've got the concrete buffs we're handling, so I guess we can leave that. We could say there's been a suggestion that we replace the stop sign outside we replace the giveaway sign outside St. Peter's with a stop sign. That's been tabled at Tech Council.
No,
That's part
it'll
of
be part of the
the church corner changes.
consultation.
Okay, then I think we do the traffic signals.
the right.
The fact that we don't seem to be able to turn right, even though the traffic signal can actually allow that. We table the orange cones. I've heard that from lots of people. Orange cones and nobody working on them. We just have it tabled.
What are you asking?
Well, we're just asking
Therefore, safety
for
Yeah.
why it's occurring.
Well,
When
it's-
people aren't
Gotta keep
working on
them
it.
safe out of ours.
There's significant wastewater upgrades, particularly across all of Riccarton. Carville Street, Picton Ave, Clarence Street, Elizabeth Street, Everall Street, they're all being updated. And I understand where Garth's coming from in terms of the non-usage rates. And I've asked that with staff, particularly with what are they called? No, the guys who give the contracts.
Right, the guys who do the Hawkins and.
No. Procurement, thank you.
Procurement, yeah.
And they've said that there comes with significant costs for night shifts, as Garth was talking about,
Yeah.
which means it would be more detrimental for the ratepayer. Therefore, they've got to push it out because they've got to work through 9 to 5. Unless it's like Te Kaha streets, of which they're working around the clock, for example, it's very difficult to get that across the line. It's multi-tiered and multi-layered. So, but I can
Well, I guess,
definitely address the other one.
actually, I guess one of the issues that I'm not clear on is why are they not there?
All right.
So why are they going away for 2 months and then coming back?
All right, I'm
mean, I
sorry,
think-
we have to move on now.
No, but if we could have that table
Yeah.
as a concern,
No.
and obviously the issue
So we'll refer the right turn arrow,
the right turning one is for a question.
Well, the
Staff
board
for
would have to
advice.
agree to table that, Helen.
Yeah.
Well, everything else that we could table,
Well, it's all going to be resolved in the
no, the
consultation.
no, the cone one won't be.
Yeah, well, that's
So
another one.
tabled as a concern. I've certainly heard it from a lot of other people.
But that's can only be tabled if.
I don't know who I could send that to, is it?
Well, it's
But the
tabled,
board-
it's recorded.
The board has to agree,
It will be recorded in the minutes.
doesn't it?
So what do you want?
No, I
Is
think,
there any other action you
I
want
think we
us to
ask, is there any reason for contractors being absent for a reasonable period when they aren't working?
Well, you need to define
So
reasonable
you've
period.
got combs. I can't see the problem.
They've
with
got a
that.
simple
We're just
paragraph to
asking-
answer that. You can do it. It's fine.
Yes, but all you need to do is say this cone,
They've already answered it
the
before.
resident phrase.
It's a copy and paste answer.
Cone, and then the other issue.
Health and safety.
Yeah.
And then the other issue you want just tabled, there's been concerns about Riccarton Road being gridlocked,
Well, that's not-
Concerns about congestion on Riccarton Road.
just to
get
state.
rid of the trees down the middle.
Okay.
So, Madam Chair, just
Yes.
quickly,
I mean, we normally table
So,
things. Yeah.
it's Tyler.
I did ask those people who have come to me around the church corner changes to submit their issues, but if they're not, if possible, would it be okay to just investigate, not investigate, I don't really want to get a report, send around a memo around the potential of a right-hand turn arrow in Pier Street and Yolthurst Road, if there is possibility of it.
Yes, yeah, I've already got,
Yeah,
so
we've
I'm
got it.
suggesting we refer the matter of the right turn arrow to staff and ask for their advice on activation or.
There'll most likely be submissions from English Street about it, so that
All right.
Oh, yes.
Oh, thank you, Gar.
Can I just say though,
We have to move on now
no, but
already.
look, we normally just table a resident of an association who's has raised issues about the orange cones
Yeah, that would be.
and people not being there for long periods.
Oh, they're rolling the night shift.
And also you want to just table the concerns about Riccarton Road being gridlocked.
Yes, you've mentioned that already, Helen, so we now have to
No,
move
but
on.
it's,
Yes, we
it's
already
recorded.
recorded it. Yes.
Faye looks a bit, Faye looks as though she's not,
Now,
not
she
prepared
is.
to do it,
so
okay.
She is. So, yeah, we are moving on. So thank you, Garth.
Well,
All right. Deputations by appointment, we don't have any deputations and we don't have any presentation of petitions. So now we move on to staff reports. We have the tree removals for Quaifs and Murphy's Springlands Stormwater Basin Extension. And welcome Kevin Williams. Can you come forward, please?
Yeah, you're gonna move it. Are you gonna move it, Mark?
Yeah.
Or where you going?
Do you have a presentation or take it as?
No,
read,
just
or-
take it as read. please.
Take it as read.
If you've got
Any
questions,
questions?
Answer them.
Any questions to staff? I have something to.
If you like.
It's not, just a suggestion, I'm aware of because you know, two properties, right? One, the 145 and 155, is that it?
Two land parcels.
Right, the one in front is zoned open space. The one at the back is zoned rural. Now I am rural zone, is zoned rural, the one at the rear property. I'm just aware that there is a council plan change, rezoning properties, council properties. So if you're probably looking into rezoning, you can tag along with that plan change and you can talk to Darren Botha from the district planning team, because that's going to be possibly notified early in the new year. So if you're looking at rezoning it from rural to open space natural along with the rest of the Springlands, because the Springlands reserve is already zoned open space. And that is the only property that's zoned rural. You might want to tag along with this plan change. So just a suggestion.
I'll have a look. See
Yeah, Darren Botha is the planner to talk.
whether that has any impact first.
Yes, so just to look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, so no questions. Thank you, Kevin.
That's good.
Right,
Thank you.
Happy to move it.
Mark's moving, and any seconder? Hank? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Thank you kindly.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Kevin.
That's a cheap round, wasn't it?
Got off lightly for one.
Yeah.
Right, now we've got our DRF with Marie and Helen. Welcome.
Okay.
We'll take the reports. Take it as read. Okay, any questions? No?
Nope.
Mark?
Just contemplating, is there any explanation as to why the quantums on the Twilight Market and the Family Fun Day are both significantly under the asking on that?
Both of them would love more money.
Mhm.
I'm aware of the board's budget.
Small
And
quantity.
but also it is similar to what they received last year.
Right.
And, it is similar to what other organisations have received, but, it's up to them. So the recommendation took into account what the groups received last year there, and looked at, the board's finances and what other organisations have received.
So what they received last year,
Same amount.
same amount.
Right, Sarah?
In terms of community events, do you ever compare the areas and the amount that's going entirely to events each area?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, because
But
obviously,
it depends on, so some areas may get more because of, the amount of social capital that is available to other organisations isn't there. So, or it might be a brand new event and they've got set up costs and things like that. So, yeah, but both these events have happened before and happening again.
I'm just thinking about like in Hornby, we've got a lot going on and there's a lot of people willing to, you know, put the work in to make these events happen. And I just wonder if like Halswell doesn't necessarily have as much going on from what I've observed. Would that be?
I would just say it's different. I actually do think there's quite a lot going on in the community. I think both these organisations have got a huge volunteer pool that they're calling on to, I mean, because these events, I mean, realistically, if council was going to run these events, it would be huge cost. And we rely on our community organisations and to run events and to service their community, and they do it through the wonderful work the volunteers do. But yeah, both organisations have got a great set of volunteers who have stepped up and are running these events. I think with the night market, they're having more stalls, so they are working towards that sustainability. Hopefully those stall holders bringing in money to be able to, you know, cover more and more of those costs. Great.
Thank you, Sarah. Just following on from Mark's question, you mentioned that it is similar from what they received last year. This may have been in the report, but I don't remember. Would it be the same for how many years already?
I'm pretty sure that this is the third time that the night market has run, and don't quote me, second time that the other event has happened.
And it'll be the same as what they previously received.
Yeah.
And it's similar to what we do most organisations that are running events, this similar contribution. The one exception is probably Riccarton Community Church, who have the substantial additional costs for the traffic management plan.
Right.
Which is out of their control.
Okay. Thank you. And no more questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So do I have a mover? Tyler and Helen second. Any debate? No? All right. So shall we just move it by block? Right. Okay. So all those 1 to 5, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. And next is the community board area report. We've got Bailey. Take it as read.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Any questions? I've got Mark and then Sarah.
Mark, I'm good.
Oh, you're good. Okay, Mark.
Just wanted to note, on page 46, it's got Waipuna Park tree planting plan. You got mentioned there, just one of the community meetings that happened, because the park staff actually put a second one on as well, so whether that's worth adding into that.
Yeah, we'll update it in the next area report. Normally pulls from the memo, so that would have been the first memo that came through. But yes, there was the addition, so we'll update it the next month.
Excellent. No, thank you. Otherwise, it looks good.
Okay, Tyler.
Just referring to page 55. How are we going with our SLAs? Is this within range at 91%?
What page are we at?
Number 55.
The stats.
Oh, it's the attachment. Sorry, I was
Sorry, so any opportunity to ask
Yeah, so sorry, say the question again.
How are we going with resolving within the SLA?
Within the timeframes with our CSRs.
Oh, I can get that for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with the water leaks, is there any areas in particular within certain catchments that are needing addressing? So for example, I'm noticing when Three Waters do their work on streets, then water leaks tend to ensue within private properties. I'm wondering if there's any areas of which the Three Waters team might need to address, because there's quite a lot of wastewater treatment and quite a lot of wastewater work going across Riccarton, particularly within the island catchment, of which might offset some pressure. But
before Bailey answers, Gamal, can we please have your camera on? Gamal, are you there?
Oh, there it is.
Gamal, we would ask you to please turn on your camera.
It looks as though he's in space.
His camera's on, I just don't think it's.
Yeah,
Is there?
no, okay, he's not there. Okay, Bailey, thank you.
I can also get that, so we can drill down. So this is obviously just the overview of all of that, but we can drill down like a little bit more into that. So I've noted both of those ones.
Thanks.
Right, any more questions? No, can I have a mover and seconder? Moved by Sarah, seconded by Helen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right. Thank you. And now we move on. I propose that we deal with a supplementary item first before the elected members' information exchange.
Excellent.
So there's a resolution to include the following supplementary reports in the meeting, and that is that the following report be received and considered at the Waipuna Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Community Board meeting on November 14th, 2024. And that is the notice of motion for the Riccarton Road Traffic Islands. Do I have a mover?
Oh my God.
Helen, seconded by Sarah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. And so, Mark, oh no, Helen, as mover of this motion, you may speak for up.
No, I'm not the mover.
Oh, no, it's Mark. It is Mark. Sorry. Yeah, it is Mark.
Yep.
Mark, as mover of this motion, you may speak for up to 5 minutes. If you
Won't take
want.
5 minutes.
We need to see.
Garth covered it all off.
Mark the mover, we need a seconder first. Oh, okay, Helen seconded. Oh, it was the resolution, so I got confused there, sorry. So there was the
Very good.
resolution, so now Mark. Okay.
So the reason I brought this notice of motion is the rather obstructive concrete traffic islands we've found outside the Woolworths that appeared after we resolved and approved the Church Corner works. I think these islands, would be fair to say, caught us by surprise, and it caught the public by surprise. The number of contact that each of us have received, I think, on these islands has been quite unusual and quite strong. Initially, this notice of motion was proposing to revoke our decision and have to get them removed, but that was deemed out of order by the chief executive, which is fair enough. So here we are, we're asking for advice on the process required to get to that point, and asking for advice on where the budget can be found. There was some mention made when we were talking in council around the Church Corner options that were going out for consultation, that these islands would likely be removed as part of the ongoing works once that decision is made at council. This was really trying to ensure for our communities that there is some certainty around the process forward, and that there will be some certainty that we can expect to see things made more normal on that location. Because at the moment, and I saw it even coming in, I was coming through Church Corner and noted vehicles travelling in those two straight through lanes from Hanson's. Suddenly one had to merge into the right, and a rather large truck was in the way and honked and landed on his horn. So there's all sorts of ongoing drama in that space. So this is just asking for advice as to how we can go about moving towards getting these removed and getting that left slip lane onto Main South Road normalised so that people can more quickly and adequately move through that space. So hopefully we'll all support this today, and we'll ask for the advice, and then we can look at moving forward and ensuring times.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody else?
Yes,
Helen, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, I'd just like to speak on this because I was chairing at the time and I wanted to get us to a separate meeting, which happened. But at that meeting, I spent quite a lot of time on breaking the issues down to different sections. And we did Henson's Lane, Wainari Road, Church Corner was done. But I don't recall these humps on Riccarton Road. Now, I want to go back and look at that because it may be that we did discuss it, but I somehow think it just got passed in a general flow of the whole project. I don't recall us discussing it. But anyway, I'll go back and look at those minutes and at the actual meeting because it was broken down. I broke it down into separate sections. And I don't recall these at all.
Right. Thank you. Debbie.
Yes, I agree with what Mark has said, and of course what has been summarised by Glenn as well. This has caught us by surprise. What I would like to request, if it's with the approval of the mover, is because I'm asking for this because the original notice of motion was not allowed. We see this as dangerous, and so does a multitude of the community. I've been on the board almost 12 years, and this is like the second biggest phone call session that I've had on this, as well as social media. So what I'm requesting, with the approval of the mover, and we've done this before, is to request an independent traffic safety report on those islands. An independent traffic safety report. Because that's a quite obvious reason why I'm asking for that. Because clearly our original notice of motion was declined, and now they're wanting to go back to staff on this. And we all know that we know our communities the best, and it's been nothing but dangerous. And this to me is dragging it out, and I think that we need to get an independent traffic report done on those islands.
Thank you, Debbie. Mark, you have a right of reply of up to 2 minutes.
Yeah, I honestly think the way we've got it worded in here, asking for advice on the implications, pretty well covers that. And I really think that we've got to allow the council process for the decision on the right turn to actually flow through. I believe that's only a matter of weeks away from coming back to council for a decision. And I would be understanding that as a part of that, or with that decision, we like to see some movement on this anyway. So can we just leave this to run process, please?
But they haven't seen it as dangerous at the original request.
They would have had the same feedback we would.
I just hope that there's no danger to anybody in the meantime.
Thank you. We will now vote on it, and although
I wonder if I could just say, could we put in with the resolution that we believe this area is dangerous? And
It's
that is what we're asking staff to come back with advice on whether it is dangerous or not.
No, but I'm just saying, could we make a statement?
I think we'll leave
it as it is. We're asking for all the advice we need, and we'll get that back.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'm very conscious of is we do need to respect the council decision that they're about to lay.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Thank you. So we will now vote on it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Excellent.
Thank you. And so now we move on to the elected members info exchange. And at the last meeting, I did ask for board representatives to certain organizations to please give us updates. So who wants to go first? Debbie? And you are representing Keep Christchurch Beautiful and Christchurch.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that from the last meeting.
Oh,
But
but do you have anything to
no,
share about? Because you were appointed by the board to represent.
yeah, but nothing to feedback today. I didn't know that you were wanting that today. I didn't hear that.
Okay.
I was probably an
But-
apology last time, I think,
Yeah,
wasn't I?
but do you have anything to?
No, I've said no.
All right.
No, but I'm happy to speak on some other matters.
I'll take first the board representatives to the to the organizations, and then we'll go back to that, right? All right, Sarah.
Yes, I've got three. So the Hornby Community Care Centre, the Trust Board. And so we're currently, I think you're all aware of this, but refitting the building that the Hornby Library was in. So there's a health and wellbeing hub, cafe, office spaces and workshop spaces. There's going to be a really large meeting room that can accommodate, I'm going to say, over 100 people. And it's, slow. There's been a few hiccups along the way, as you can imagine, with all building projects. But Linda, the manager there, is absolutely amazing, and she's just taken it all in her stride. And we're chaired by Bob Shearing, who's got a wealth of experience in the whole area. So, really confident and excited about what's to come with that. We meet regularly and often have events. Like a couple of weeks ago, we had a community event where the op shop gave out really cheap clothing and had bouncy castles and face painting and all of that kind of good, hearty community stuff. So that was great. And then Keep Christchurch Beautiful is all about clean, green, litter-free Christchurch. And I did, earlier on, I visited a number of schools in our area where they are awarded on their tidiness, the caretakers area, any other initiatives that they're going on, like fruit trees and all sorts. So I managed to meet a number of the caretakers around the local community through that. And then there's they do annual award ceremonies for schools where they give out native plants. But in all honesty, the last couple of those I've been tied up, had a number of things, so I haven't been able to make those ones. And then there's another youth, a service of residential facility for youth and vulnerable youth. And so we meet regularly as part of a community liaison committee, and we can, they let us know, what their needs are at the time, if there's anything we can help with. There's been earlier on last summer, we tried to get them into some pools, and then we're invited to hangies, which I've attended 2 of those now on site, which has been really amazing. And they do really great work with the youth in there.
All right, thank you, Sarah. All right, I've got Gamal disappeared. He was just there a few seconds. He's come back to earth. Yeah, he was just there a few seconds ago, just before you finished. All right, but he was appointed by the board to the District Committee of Neighborhood Support. So we'll get him to probably update us at the next meeting. Same with you, Debbie. If you have anything to update us.
For Christchurch.
You were you Keep Christchurch Beautiful, so Sarah's already mentioned.
Sarah's done that, but also
there was another one, Christchurch Street and Garden Awards.
well, that happens once a year.
Yep.
But
so-
I don't think they had.
No. No.
Not that I'm aware
Right,
of.
and then so Gamal, Hank, we've got you on the Waipuna Community Liaison Committee.
Quite a fun meeting, really.
All right.
Yeah.
Waipuna.
They're quite a good crowd. Yeah,
course.
they're enthusiastic. They love what they're doing, and they genuinely make a real effort to keep the noise level down. And the only time they fail is when they have it's not really a failure, but is when they have the firework nights. And the problem lies with horses. when they have the loud boom bang thing, then all the horses scatter off to parts unknown, and even they get all fidgety apparently, and they get all upset. So every time they put in the horse owners put in a complaint, then the next time they try and contact them, but it's difficult. They put the notice in the local newsletter through the Residents Association, and they put it in the newspaper, and they put it on social media that there's going to be fireworks, and yet still it catches some of the horse people out by surprise. And so I'm suspecting it'll be a constant battle between the two. It happens twice a year, once at the beginning of the season, once at the end of the season. And they've cut out, health and safety has made them cut out the really loud bangs, because they had a really unique way of making those in a 44-gallon drum, which didn't go down too well with some people.
Yeah.
Quite fun though. But yeah, that's apart from that, there's really been no complaints, and we get a report every couple of months about the races that they've had and the noise values and anything that's gone over the top. And if there is something that goes over the top, then they search pretty deep to find the reason. They had a few months back. They had a one that went quite a way. There was no complaints, but in their own violation, they sorted that out and talked to the person concerned. Not such a big drama. It wasn't that far, but it was over.
Okay.
Genuine people making a real effort to give everybody a fair go.
And they're back racing again on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed with them actually.
Cool.
They're pretty real.
Any questions about that? No?
Mark went even last meeting, I think, when I was away. No, you didn't go? No. Okay,
so my turn.
Yep.
So the board had appointed me to the Riccarton Bush Trust. So here's our annual report, and just to circulate, just for you to have a look at, and you want to, that's so the trust is also chaired by Bob Shearing, who's also chairing the Hornby Community Trust. So he's really experienced. He's been the chair for a few years now, I think since 2016 or something.
Been on our board.
So the main project of the trust is the bush enhancement project, which our community board has contributed for about 35,000, I believe. The trust is still looking for donations and funding. Funding for the bush enhancement program, similar to Matatiki's Buy a Bubble. We also have a Buy a Plank, but you won't have your names on the plank themselves. But it would be good if you
challenge goes out to all board members to get on board. I've certainly done mine.
So Mark is also a representative of council to the Riccarton Bush Trust, along with me. So
Cool. And just a quick question for Tyler. Have you managed to make any progress around connection with Mike Davidson and the Naito already?
Yeah. So I'm currently liaising with the treaty team to work directly with Naito Huriri, and we'll see how we get on with that.
Sorry, what's Naito?
It's the Runanga who need to approve the concept for our bush enhancement project.
Riccarton Bush.
Yes. We've been struggling to get this on, so Tyler's agreed to step in and try and help.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. That's right. Okay, right. So now we go into the informal, the info sharing. I've got Debbie first, and then Tyler, and then Helen, and Mark.
Just reiterating again, if we could have that follow up for Arthur, would be great about the lines that we requested. Would be wonderful. I've also had lots of feedback about the UV water station at Burnside Park, and it was interesting that the gentleman here earlier was talking about signage at the park because there is no signage for the UV water area at Burnside Park. You wouldn't know at the entrance. It just says the tennis club. And I know that it's there because I had to go in there like a rabbit warren to find it and turn left, right, roundabout, and then I found it. So just people didn't know it was there unless they see other people filling up. But it was really interesting that it was leaking water the other day, going full blast all over the ground. So that was reading a meter, false reading meter back to council, because when I was there once, there was a council worker that was showing me how it all worked in the background when he had it open. And there's a meter reader there that shows how much usage. So anyway, I rang up and they're getting that fixed, which was a bit of a shame. But so could we ask please for some
excuse me, just to remind people, the elected members info exchange, there's no actions or resolutions here. It's just a sharing of report back on liaison groups, community issues, and councillors to report back on council committee.
Yeah, there's a community issue.
Yeah,
People
so,
don't know really.
so no lodging of CSR's actions or resolutions in this.
So how would you like me to approach that then?
CSR.
CSR. It's a CSR. If it's a
I thought
CSR
the
matter,
I thought
yeah.
the council would have thought on it, shouldn't it?
Emailed it, info.
Yeah, put in a CSR. So not for this info sharing, elected members exchange. Good. Okay, Tyler.
I'm coming to the board. This is my first actually board tour in regards to my multicultural portfolios. And this is not an action, it's just a nice question to ask if you would like to please consider adding 2 priorities outside of your board priorities, one for multicultural, one for youth, within your written and oral submissions. So I'm going to each board, there's going to be 12 all up, to be able to inform and provide to the annual plan, which are coming up. We've got an annual plan rate rise of around 9.8%. So I'm actually asking that there is either 0 or barely any rates impact in regards to those 2 portfolios. But there may be things that the board may deem necessary in regards to either youth or multicultural. Similar things are, for example, in Banks Peninsula, for example, said that there needed to be more youth engagement for young people at the Littleton Community Centre. They felt like that was dropping off because there was some funding that's been dropped. Or there may be some organisations or programs of which you'd like the council to consider working with, things like that. 12 amendments all up with little to no rates impact would be fantastic. So I'm going to be sending an email out to every board, and just as a reminder, and sort of what I'm after, essentially. Because as we know, the Multicultural Committee has been disestablished and the Te Paipakara Youth Committee were disestablished in 2022.
Oh.
Yep. So that meant that the portfolio holders had to really take on all of that brunt. I've noticed meeting, 200 community groups is probably not a good use of my time. So to go through the boards would be the most necessary thing for me, and to make it attainable and realistic. So people don't say, oh, council does nothing. Get some stuff that's really easy to get, but needs to be reprioritized potentially. And it's just a more pragmatic way to go at it. The next one is around Ninja Valley in Church Corner. I don't know if you guys have heard about Ninja Valley. They've got an opening date on November 28th.
What's Ninja Valley?
It's practically a chipmunks on steroids. It's going to completely change the makeup of Church Corner and Riccarton and Bushin. They're reinvigorating that mall, to be honest, just on the basis of them.
Wow.
They're huge, enormous. They're millions of dollars city.
So what'd you say?
The Old Smith City.
Yeah.
It's like a playground of steroids.
An adult's playground.
Yeah.
Oh, for adults.
Like a zip line around the.
There's zip lines, there's climbing walls, there's basketball hoops. Yes.
For adults.
Adults, children, families, even got a kindergarten area. It's phenomenal. They're going to run parties.
Like it fits indoors.
It's pretty decent, yeah.
Long enough to have fun, Marie.
I took Phil on a wee tour and he thoroughly loved it.
I can feel a board housing on this.
I think, yeah, there's going to be a great one.
Team building, I was just going to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I reckon that's coming up.
Off for you, Helen.
We had some consenting issues.
You could get off the
Had some consenting issues going through, but they've sorted it out. The fire engineers had a bit of an issue. in the old Smith City. It's nearly done.
It's a good big barn.
Oh, there.
It's opening in about 14 days. It should have opened in the July holidays. That's how hard consenting was for them. We managed to get there.
Next briefing.
That's
Yeah.
for adults.
There you go. So it's going to be phenomenal, and you guys are going to see
They're
that
gonna
mall
like-
finally be reinvigorated. Yes.
That time.
Wow.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
been some
nice.
issues with push-ins.
So everybody cool to do some team building event?
Are they
Sounds like
gonna
a great
put
idea.
a
A board?
request for an invitation? to
I'm
the
sure Cam and Ninja Valley would love that. Yeah. They've been really good to work
No
with.
photos
Been
to
some-
be taken.
Great.
Video.
And
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
And that's the last one. In terms of the updates in Riccarton, it's been pretty generic. Levita Youth Trust just had their 20th anniversary. And it was a phenomenal day. Good to see Susan Ward and the team do such great work. They do a lot of work in Riccarton, by the way, and we support them quite a lot, which has been great. And also council's funded them. But I also, love to just acknowledge them and the work that they do and the 24/7 work. But in terms of the generic stuff, it's just pretty much a day in the life of really. Water, waste, the two biggest ones, and obviously parks as of late. Yeah, transport's another one. But we're still trying to work on all of those. And Riccarton's actually getting a lot better, to be honest. With a lot of the works that are going on, we see Blenheim Road's been nearly asphalted, Waitanui Road, beautiful. They're like runways, so really happy to see those. And I've been a bit of a pest, so it's been great. But yeah, that's it.
Great, thank you. Now Helen.
Yes, now I'll just say some facts, and I'm aware that Mark and Tyler can't participate. Well, Tyler's gone. On the 2nd and 3rd are the days that council is considering Plan Change 14. My advice to people, if you advise your constituents, is that you need as many people there as possible to create a feeling of concern. Now, I'm aware that some people aren't concerned because they don't know, but just be aware of those dates. I'll send it around in sort of an email as well. Hornby and Riccarton residents met informally early this week. And one thing that we didn't specify, which we will, is that the commercial heights are of concern. And just to brief you about what the current plan is, Plan Change 14, staff started off, council staff, with 20 metres for commercial heights. In their final proposal, they went to 22, and the IHP made it 32. Now, talking to Hornby, they're particularly concerned about 32 metres. And Riccarton's particularly concerned about the low commercial buildings going to 32 metres. So not so concerned about the mall, but the small commercial buildings can go to 32 metres. And that applies in Hornby as well. So the 2-storey commercial buildings in Hornby can go to 32 metres. Now, council doesn't have to approve that, of course. That can be a signal to the minister, but that's the current situation. It just feeds into the sense that Riccarton and Hornby are overloaded with intensification, but we have focused now on commercial heights, which I think probably some councillors have focused on. We talked about it in our submission, but we didn't put anything formally through as sort of a recommendation.
Are you allowed to talk at that meeting?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you talking?
No.
Only anything could go in writing only.
Sorry,
And-
I thought that if you're a submitter, you could talk to it.
No, I don't think so now. It seems as though the time that for submissions are past, actually.
So the only thing that's going to stop this, as Jim Mengerton used to say, would be, was it Jim? That said would be another major earthquake.
Yes, I know that. And certainly to have people there on the 2nd and 3rd would be helpful, people who are concerned.
So
second or third of December at council.
December 2nd and 3rd. Okay, thank you,
Yes.
Helen.
Maybe the third,
Could I suggest the second be the focus?
The focus,
because the
yes.
third will only be if we need it.
if you need it, yes,
And I
okay.
hope we don't, Tom.
It's, and what
They're pretty proactive, I think we'll be.
And just to brief you, what council can do, they can say no to the whole plan. They could say yes to the whole plan, or they could say, we approve most of the plan, but these are the issues we actually want to refer to the minister.
Is this as per suggested by the hearings panel?
No, it's as councillors have read all the information and theory and have come to conclusions that they can't accept certain
So they
items.
should not be able to accept it just based on AF8 alone.
Sorry?
I said they shouldn't even accept it just based on AF8 alone.
Yes, so the issue is that talking to Wellington Council did send things to the minister and he accepted most of them. So that's
Wellington's not Christchurch earthquake.
no. The earthquake issue, yes, I haven't included, but it's so huge that there's no way I think council can even do anything about that now. They can look at specific, like commercial heights. They could put something in on commercial heights, but they
Can I
couldn't say
suggest that we can take it offline, the
Yes.
discussion about that? But so your point is just December 2nd, if you can get the
And
people.
commercial height.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Mark?
Yeah, I just been fielding a few calls around Hornby around that the sort of parks maintenance, and it's extrapolating across into some of the roadside maintenance as well. I've certainly come across a case recently, which I'm working through with a council staff member at the moment, around a piece that seems to be in limbo, no man's land. And it's a matter of trying to get it specified into a maintenance contract for maintenance to get in and actually cut the grass. So a few of those, it'll be interesting. I wonder if we can get some feedback out of the parks team around how they're going with their bedding in. That might be something we can perhaps query.
We're not allowed to an information exchange.
No,
What I was told.
Yeah, well,
we can email.
Put it through, right?
I think
Andre asked for an update already, eh?
Oh, we did ask for an update already through the public forum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. All right.
Yep.
Anything else?
And then with that, there's been some noises around some of the, I think you'd call it tree trimming down access ways in neighbourhoods. One of the particular ones that's been raised with me is around in the Hey area, some of the access ways into Waipuna Park and so forth. There's overgrown trees and shrubbery congesting and making potentially unsafe the alleyways. So that's something I'll need to raise with whether it's parks or even might be transport as well. Some of those alleyways tend to be more in the road space. So be good to try and get some answers. I'll have to make a few queries in and see if we can get some movement on that to see whether we can get these better maintained. But other than that, the annual plan, of course, we've got coming up. There'll be some things to keep an eye on for the board, the way of some program level stuff. One of the ones I'm battling to try and get some visibility into is Amy's Road renewal. Now that it's not a reseal, we've got to try and make sure that gets scheduled early enough that it's going to be useful. Hopefully I'd be hoping the next 12 months, 18 months at the very most, to try and get that renewal done, because they were due to reseal Amy's Road this season. So they would have been done by April next year. But now that it can't reseal it because it's stuffed, we need to, I think as a board, try and lobby hard to make sure we can bring that renewal forward so it doesn't linger too long down the list. But we'll, I guess, do some work with the board as we get the annual plan formulating and highlight things you can support us on. It's encouraging to see that already they're starting to do some work on the missing footpaths prioritising. Some of the ones that have been even listed are ones that we've been making some noise about for a while. Springs Road, the missing piece from Boston down to the motorway, is what they're going to be looking at. Potentially the Wilmers Road, missing footpaths out there. One that was, I think, a little bit disappointing. We had this through our memo and email. the main South Road, missing piece outside Woolworths. So as a board, if we could continue to lobby on that one, I think that would be useful to try and make sure that, it gets included in program thinking. And if it does need to be a project in itself, then we need to find a way as a board for getting that to land as a project so that we can start to get that happening rather than forever talking about it and never getting any progress. I have had some good conversations with one of the road maintenance crew who does a lot of the mowing and garden type maintenance, and he's looking at early next year the piece of Carmen Road opposite the Workmen's Club by the railway, looking to get some planting land for that. So that would be a really nice thing to get landed and happening, because it's been a dirt patch for too long. Yeah, it'll be good to get some progress. So that pretty well sums up what I'll.
Cool, thank you. Helen, did you have a quick question?
Yes, I
Just a
think,
quick one.
I think we need to try and set a
Is it a
time.
question?
No, it's, I think we were talking about setting a meeting for the board to put forward.
Okay,
for the-
we will talk about that
for the-
offline.
Okay,
after
for the
this.
annual plan.
A question?
Just information exchange.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'll just be really brief, quickly share. Excited to have been a part of the Uru Manuka, which is our local schools cluster principals meeting. And so it was really great to be able to finally get that happening and manage to have Linda and Satali from our community centre, along with Marie and Helen council staff, in one room together with 6 principals. And it was really great for them to share their concerns, and council and the community centre to be able to share everything that's going on. So it was great.
Right.
We used to do that as a whole board.
A whole board, yeah.
Didn't we?
Breakfast.
Yeah, we used to do a breakfast at Upper Riccarton.
I think that was pre-earthquake, pre-COVID, pre-earthquake.
Pre-COVID, but,
Pre-COVID.
it was
Pre-COVID, can't be
Yeah.
pre-earthquake, because I was on.
from Mark, and Helen's just done some work. I mean, Marie's just done some work, sorry, and she sent out a survey. So it was after you'd seen it in Pembrokeshire.
So we don't have that kind of thing happening, and
So we've just asked all of the schools in the board area, what would benefit them? What would that look like? Is it restarting the breakfast? Is it twice a year we get together? What does that look like?
Right,
So
okay,
that survey's just been
That's cool.
sent out, and we'll share it with you.
lovely.
That'll be good.
Right.
That's good.
Thank you. Also, my last, I just wanted to share, last Friday, I attended this free workshop at Canterbury University. It's Tikanga workshop. So I know we've all talked about before having probably, what was that? Cultural awareness workshop. So this one is free, offered by students at Canterbury University. And it was really, really good. And so we had agreed that probably we'll have a regular workshop. So I would like to extend the invite to the rest of you. If you're interested, just let me know, because they asked us what other topics probably we might want to talk about, because last Friday we did the mihi, patiha, and all that. But next time I think we're looking at doing protocols. So if you're interested, just let me know, and I'll pass you the information if they're putting up another workshop for that.
Do you mind
How
sending
long
the
is it?
information?
Couple of hours, 2 hours.
Are you going to send out the information?
No, I'm gonna send out the invite,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
just need to register. It's free, but you need to register so they know how many people are coming for.
How big was it? Was there many there?
No, probably 10 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, or, yeah, 1, 2, yeah, around 10.
Cool.
Yep, and it was the students leading it, but yeah, there was people from all walks of life attended. Yeah, it was really interesting. And
Oh.
yeah, cool. So, Karakia. Oh, good. Thank you. Meeting is closed. And so we offline.
It's come out.
So we are now offline. So
We're gonna go there.
Up there.
Oh, there. Thank you.
So we're now offline. We've got, there are four, 3 bylaws and 1 strategy. Probably the board, if the board is interested in making